What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, back with some more Demon Bluff. We're going to continue playing blind mode until we lose our streak. We are currently on village 17, and with this video, our blind streak might actually surpass our non-blind streak. That'll be interesting. 3 evil in this village. We're going to start off with a gem crafter telling us that a poet is good. And I believe that this poet is giving us bishop text here. 3, 8, and 5. Minion, villager, outcast. Well, if you're good, then between 3, 8, and 5... it's going to be mostly good people. Let's see if we can find an outcast here. I am the original baker. Huh. Well, that's interesting to find this early. I think it actually will be beneficial then to find our evil team among this. Now, one of these two could be a drunk or a doppelganger, and the other one could be a minion. So, until we know if this is a drunk or a doppelganger, let's just mark them with these tags, so that way we remember this information. Number 7 is a real architect, but I feel like this could just be the evil team, because this is pretty likely to be tainted information. We could even check if it's tainted information, but this judge could be a drunk, so I want to get a little bit more information before we get into that. We find a dreamer, we find a wretch, and then we finally find a baker turned character. I'm gonna trust this alchemist. So here's what's interesting. Well, hold on a second. Hold on a dang second. In order for one of these two to be an outcast, because the wretch you cannot disguise yourself as a wretch. Wretch is like, despite being an outcast, it's one of the most good characters in the entire game. I'm not even really sure if it should be an outcast. It's like basically a better confessor, because it like messes up it messes up information on the good team, but like in a way that's still verifiable. In a way that I sometimes forget about. Like, right side is more evil. I will have to remember that the wretch cares about that. But I'm currently feeling like the poet is maybe a baddie. And that might be where I start. We could also use the wretch to check the dreamer, which is really like the only thing that the dreamer is ultimately going to wind up doing. Though someone in the comments of my last video let me know that the dreamer will only show me evil characters that are on the board, which is useful in blind mode because I don't know what minions or what demons we are dealing with here. We could have like a puka or something. Though with 3 evils, I feel like a puka is not the most likely thing. But this could be a puka poisoning the poet, poisoning the medium. Either way, I think that the judge is good. But where would our evil team be? It can't be the 3 of these. Because if the poet is lying, since the Pope is a bishop, we can't actually... I do think that that is a quality of life update that could get added to the game to get more information about what poets are doing. So this poet is copying the bishop's ability, and when the bishop is lying, the 3 things that it's pointing at all have to be good, or they maybe even all have to just straight up be villagers. But either way, like, because I can't fit an outcast in here. The only way that there could be another outcast is if we have a counselor. The dreamer could be a counselor making this a drunk. And then this is also evil. I guess let's check that. This could also be the counselor making this a drunk. Let's check the dreamer. Number 2 could be a cabbage, which just means the dreamer is confirmed. That's all that does. Oh, you're wrong, right? Yeah, if we think this is evil, And the right side isn't more evil. It would be a 50-50. So I guess you're wrong and you're wrong. But I think you have to be good. No, I think we could easily have a counselor sat on this board somewhere. So maybe I should have used the dreamer to try to check if there was a counselor. But I think we're going to get some information from our dagger. I was thinking about this kind of during the last video. I may have even said this, but I've been thinking since then, regardless, that I might actually find myself more suited for blind mode as opposed to like actually being able to see the things, because in blind mode, this really is how you get information. When you get stabby, you get information. That's the title of the video. And I think that definitely rewards a certain style of play, because I can potentially look at a board and figure out, okay, who can I kill that's going to give me the most information either way? And I think it's got to be the poet, because that'll let me know if the gem crafter's wrong or right. It will let me know if 5 and 8 are wrong and right. Yeah, this is the poisoner, which would explain why the architect is potentially saying the wrong thing. But now this has to be good and this has to be good. This is obviously wrong information, and it can't be poisoned. I think this just has to be evil. Yeah, let's get stabby over here. And I still have a judge that I can check, but the judge is possibly just poison or corrupted. We could check that, though. Actually, I think the architect is poison or corrupted and the judge is evil, and then the medium is real. Sure, we could go for that. We could also use the judge. It's tricky. So if we use the judge to check the dreamer, if the judge is poisoned either way, yeah, this is when an evil is sat next to a poisoner, it can become really tough to discern. But if the judge says that somebody's lying, it could just be because the judge is poisoned. So I don't really think that there's any way to discern what's going on with the judge. What if the judge chooses themselves? It'll be the same thing, right? They will always say that they are telling the truth. Oh gosh. I want to do it now just because this is like a paradox, right? They're saying the truth, which is the truth. So it can't be a lie. What? But it is a lie because they're lying. That's funny. Oh no, that was just a totally real judge. Shoot. Well, here's what that lets us know. If that judge is not corrupted by the poisoner, this person has to be corrupted by the poisoner. They just have to be. Which means it has to be the medium, and this is the drunk, and the poisoner didn't poison, unless I broke the game by having the judge check themselves. That's possible. Are we about to lose the streak? Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Okay, let's think about this. The poisoner literally has to be corrupting this architect, because the poisoner will always corrupt one adjacent villager if possible. Which means this is corrupted, which means the right side is not more evil. So either the left side is more evil, or it's both. But how could the left side be more evil? Because this is right. This is right. And I don't think this could be a drunk and... Well, it can't be a drunk and a counselor. Like, this has to be a ba, right? Huh. Oh, yeah, and this person is... Did the poisoner just not... Oh, wait a minute. Alchemist. Oh, that's crazy. The alchemist cured the poison, and I completely overlooked that. That is a really, really wacky interaction. So the poisoner has to poison someone. That was really, really spooky. But yeah, I mean, why did I kill the judge? The judge was in the bishop info. I just forgot about it. Yeah, okay, there was a few reasons not to kill the judge. Apologies, this is a warm-up game. We're just getting started here, but we are going to be able to take out the puka. That is not a real architect. That is a puka, my friend. Okay, now we're back in it. Now we're back in it. A little bit of a warm-up here, but let's see what else we can come up with. Only 2 evils on this board. We've got another judge. I'm about ready to get stabbing on these bakers. I feel like we're going to let this judge ride for a little bit because that other one got a bad rap, right? This could be a puka. Between 2, 8, and 9, there's a villager, an outcast, and a minion. Now, because we found a wretch, and a wretch cannot disguise as anything else, that means this bishop information has to be correct. At which point, this has to include a minion and a villager. Now, we don't know what this druid is. This druid could be an outcast, and I don't know if a druid... Yeah, druid cannot register as a wretch. So we probably just pick the same thing. I mean, we could probably just pick the same thing with both of these druids. Ooh, and we have a witch. We do have a witch. So part of me wants to believe, what are the options? This is a puka. This is a witch. Or this is a witch. This is a... I think this is the puka either way, isn't it? No, but the puka wouldn't double claim. This has to be the puka, and the minion is double claiming the demon here. This is the witch. That is the drunk. Hold on. Why are you showing me... Why are you showing me 2 outcasts? Huh? What? That's not right, is it? Oh, I don't think that that's right. Huh. That is really curious. 2, 8, and 9. I've got to figure that out because there's no way that this wretch can be evil. Oh, there is a way. There is a way. Wretch blindness. The wretch is registering as a minion to the bishop. Okay. Which means that this is now actually a confirmed villager. This is not actually a minion, but the bishop thinks it's a minion. So I do think this is now the puka double claiming the drunk. With this confessor right here. I mean, how else could this person be corrupted? I guess we could have a poisoner, but we wouldn't have a... Yeah, the drunk always takes an out-of-play role. So this has to be an evil character. It is the puka. The confessor is possibly good, though it's more or less impossible to know. If we use the judge... If we use the judge to check number 7... Okay, we do have a few shots here. If we use the judge to check number 7... I don't know what I am dizzy would mean in the context of lying. Let's stab the knight. Okay. That did make me a little bit afraid for a second. But I think we're good here. If the judge checks number 7 and says it's lying, it could mean that the judge is lying. It could mean that number 7 is lying. If we use the judge to check number 2, and it says 2 is telling the truth, then we know it's the judge. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It can't be the confessor, because one of these two has to be the counselor. So I think what we do is we use the judge to check the baker. The baker is telling the truth, which means you're lying, you're the witch, and this was a gem crafter. Okay. Whew, we survived it. I think there were some spooky villages there for a second, but hopefully we are out of the woods here and we can make it onto village number 20. This is a Lilith game, and it's a tiny board, but we will get 2 Jester Juggles, so that's nice. Minion is 3 cards away from the closest evil. 1, 2, 3. All right, it's possible. The board is just barely big enough, but it is possible. Closest evil clockwise. Oh, shoot. I forgot to flip over my gestures. I got a text message. And that distracted me, unfortunately. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb here. Okay. That was an awkward mistake. Nothing we can do about it now. Let's flip over our remaining cards. Lilith is 2 cards away from closest evil, so one of these 2 scouts has to be lying. But I think we do know that we have Lilith and we have a minion. I think we do know that, which means we don't have a shaman. They could not both be lying, because if these 2 were both our well, they could both be lying, but they can't both be evil, because if this is Lilith, then 2 away it would be the minion. But it could still be that this one is lying, because they could be 3 away, and then clockwise. Yeah, this is actually gonna, I think we can solve it with just these 2 things. I mean, we're gonna find a solve here regardless. This one is definitely possible. This is 1 pair, is 3 and 8. So what if we do this? What if we get a little bit of this and just say that's 1 possible evil team? All right. So what if this scout is evil? If this scout is evil, they have to be 2 away from their evil team, at which point they're with the jester. Okay, we'll come back to this in just a second. But let's draw that for now. Now here's where that doesn't make sense. One of our cards is already dead. That could be our outcast. However, I think it's also possible that our outcast is either one of these jesters or one of these scouts. Could be a doppelganger, could be a drunk and a demon, like we just saw. Or potentially a drunk and a minion. Okay. Yeah, I think I kind of trust all of these things. Do we use the druid to find out whether it's a drunk or a doppelganger? Probably. What else could this be? Yeah, it's not going to be... could it be 3 away from this one? 1, 2, 3. And be the druid. At which point the closest evil would be clockwise. So that could also work. That's a team. Just going to draw a pentagram by the end of this. I wonder if that's why the pentagram's there. It's like, okay, yeah, that could potentially just wind up being your evil team. We could also have a puka. This could easily be a puka, and then this is just corrupted information. Oh, wait. No. I'm sorry. We have a Lilith and a minion. Let's not let that get away from me. I suppose if this jester checks these 2 and we don't get exactly a 2, then that's a little bit sus. Sure. Let's just check the whole evil team. There are 3 evils. Well, I don't know about that one, buddy. Let's have the other jester check the same thing. 1 evil. 1 evil. But we know that... Okay. This could just be the drunk. We said that, right? Drunk, demon, minion. The lover pointing away from the druid makes me feel like it's not that option. So if we think that this is the drunk, what if we did this? There are no outcasts among those 3. Huh. The scout can't lie about what type of minion that they see, right? Maybe they can. Someone, I brought this up already in this video, I'm pretty sure, but someone mentioned that the dreamer, right, can be used to check which evil characters are on the board. Maybe the scout doesn't work like that, because I do think I remember a scout bringing up like a witch one time in a Puka game, in like a 1 evil game. So maybe we can't just assume that there's a minion. Maybe there could be a poisoner corrupting this jester. Either way, this is not really adding up. This could be a poisoner poisoning the druid too. I think there's too much information pointing at this jester. We're going to start there. And it is indeed a minion. So... Oh... No, but I chose this too, so we would see if this was a plague doctor corrupting this jester. Why is this jester... Could this... No, the jester can't be a poisoner. All right, you are now correct. Lilith is 2 away from the closest evil. It's not the lover. The lover ain't lying. Yeah, the lover can never be evil there. Because an evil lover would always say there's an adjacent evil. I feel like it has to be this scout. But then I'm not sure why this jester is telling us there's 1 evil. It has to be some weird corner case where... Wait a second. Wait a second. Drunk. Demon. 1, 2, 3. I think that actually has to be it. I think this is a double jester. But then... this wouldn't be the drunk and then be double claimed. It could be a doppelganger, but then it wouldn't have wrong information. So... drunk and Lilith. That's what it has to be. It is not either. It's not any of the evil teams that we thought it was. Both scouts are actually wrong because this is the demon double claiming the drunk, and that places our outsider or our outcast on the board. Yeah, because otherwise I don't have anywhere for an outcast to be. That has to be Lilith, and this is our drunk. Nice. All right. Cool one. And that moves us on to village number 20, going for the tie. This will tie up blind mode with normal mode here if we can get this 20 streak. Potentially a witch to look out for, but no. Okay. So I think that we might have a witch based off this. 3 away from closest evil. Closest evil clockwise. Probably means I want to flip a little bit in this direction as well. Left side is more evil. All right, well, that's good. In order for the left side to be more evil and for the evil team to be 3 away from each other, it would actually have to be 5 and 8. Wait, an architect claiming that their own side is the most evil. Okay, so either there's 1 evil on each side, which is possible, and the evil could even be like, well, no, it couldn't be like that. So the architect could be evil with 1 evil from these 3. Or, and 1, 2, 3. So it could be the architect and the slayer are on a team. Let's do that again. Or the judge and number 5 are on a team. And this is important to do right now before flipping everything over. Some people ask like, oh, why haven't you just flipped everything? Well, I think we have a witch right now. So it is important which of these 2 cards I flip over, because if this is potentially bad information, I might rather just not read it. Closest evil clockwise. Now, that's wrong. Oh, here's an idea. Oops. With a puka. With a puka right here. Now we're building the pentagram. I think that that is actually what I like, because this is wrong. This could be wrong, pointing away from the judge. This is actually wrong because you are corrupted. And then 1, 2, 3 away. This could be our witch and puka. At which point I think the slayer attacking the judge could be really smart. No. Shoot. All right, looks like I should have gotten some more information. I maybe will still stab the baker. I'm going to have to flip 6 here. I'm 3 cards away from corrupted character. 1, 2, 3. All right, that would have been good information to know. Or 1, 2, 3. Oh. It could be the Slayer. Just trying to make a nice line there. The Slayer could be the Puka now. Okay, and we can't flip this, right? Yeah. I kind of like Slayer Puka, but then how do we get the left side being more evil? Because it's actually 7 and 2. That was an initial pair. Do we use the judge to check the bard? Saying the truth. Saying the truth. I think I'm going to get stabby on the Slayer. 1, 2, 3. We could stab the Architect because that would be the Witch, and this is the Puka in this scenario. Yes, this is better information to learn about. Wow. So the left side is more evil. Okay. This could be our drunk. But how is this getting clockwise if it's judge and 5? Six is telling the truth. 6 could be lying. How could 6 be lying? Oh, that's tricky. That's tricky. If 8 is telling me that 6 is telling the truth. Oh no. All right. I think we do have really good information. The architect is not corrupted. So the left side we know is more evil. What could be devastating is this being the wretch. If this is the wretch down here. Oh, and then imagine the witch is 3 away from the closest evil, and the witch is actually 3 away from the wretch. But even so, if the left side is more evil, I don't think you could have a single... If you had a single evil on the right, you would need to have 2 evils on the left. You couldn't even have like one in the middle, one on the right and one on the left. That just wouldn't track. This architect information needs to be good information. How do we marry that with the enlightened? If might need to take some of these lines off the board too, because they are potentially throwing us off the track here. I'm just trying to marry evil being more on the left side and then this enlightened. I suppose you could always be corrupted. You're a liar. You're a liar? Or you're a liar? Well, doesn't matter about you. You would definitely have wrong information. But how are you also wrong? Do we know what the demon is? No. Does this have to be a puka? Maybe. Puka. Drunk? Evil? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. This is wrong. We know we have a witch. We don't have a poisoner. Could have a plague doctor face down. That would throw some weird information elsewhere. But I'm kind of saying this is the drunk. I feel like... I mean, I either want to kill the scout or I want to kill the drunk. It can't be the... Okay. No, if it's the judge and the bard, then we have too much wrong information down here. And this would be wrong as well. Could be a Vortox. But we know that this information is correct, which is why it was such a good kill. I stand on that decision. Because otherwise, like, this could have been a Puka even. But the left side being more evil... It could be... It could be... Could it be Puka Wretch? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Puka Wretch. Witch. Yes. That works. Puka? No. This would be correct info. So this can never be a Puka. Slayer can never be a Puka. Because then the enlightened would be correct. Or it would be wrong. Because it's correct. Could the Slayer be something else? Well, the only other something else is a witch. Because there's no counselor. I'm assuming that this guy... Oh, no, we know there's a witch. We know there's a witch. Okay. So, yeah, the main thing that I'm concerned about right now is could a wretch be on the board to taint this architect's information? Because if there's a wretch, that means that there could be like a baker right here. So it could be... But there would still have to be... That would mean that specifically... Wait a second. Doesn't that mean that the bard is always evil? No. It doesn't mean that the bard is... Wait, actually it might mean that the bard might always be evil here. Which makes the judge's information confusing. But... I guess it could be 5 and 4. It could be... But that's tricky because both of these... I guess this could be right. This could be the puka. This could be the witch. This is wrong. This is actually correct. This is correct. And this is our drunk. That is actually my top leaning thing right now. And interestingly, the baker is double claiming the architect. I wonder if like subconsciously that played into any of my decision making there. I don't think so. But I do think that the baker in a double claim with the architect, I mean, could be the evil team. But I think potentially this is the puka. This is the demon. This actually just has correct information and is telling the truth. This could then just be our drunk. Well, that's tricky. Does the bard let me know about drunks? Yeah, corrupted characters. The fact that the bard is telling the truth. I mean, this board works. This is a tricky board for blind mode. This would definitely be solvable in face-up mode. Well, it would probably be solvable in face-up mode. Because I would know if I had a puka or not. Because the existence of the puka is actually what is making me clear the baker, but also the architect is making me clear the baker. Right. No, that's why I like this too, because of the architect. I should maybe clear all this and see if there's any world that I can paint where the bard is evil. So let's do that real quick. We can keep this there. So if the bard is evil, that means that this information is bad. But this is never the puka. This is never the puka. This could just be our drunk. This also can't be our evil team. It could just be this as the puka. Sure. Doesn't this work? I think so. I really want to kill the witch first so I can get a little bit more information. But I think I have 2 worlds built, and either way, the judge is good or drunk. Ooh. No, we can't. I was thinking, could we stab the judge to find out if they're the drunk? But if they're good, then we've lost. I think we have to start with the scout. And if the scout is the witch, then we get to flip 5. Otherwise, we might have to kill 5 blind. But I think we've got to start here. That's the witch. Let's flip this. That's the scout. That's the real scout, which is 3 away from the closest evil. That does not work. That simply does not work. It's a good bard. It's a good judge. It is a drunk baker. And both of the scouts are evil. Oh, they're saying the exact same thing. Okay. Good idea, guys, but you're not gonna fool me. That is clear number 20 in blind mode, and one of the trickier villages yet. Yeah, this was the drunk baker, but we were able to get it done, and that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.